Why are you calling yourself a rebel? Is the question that I'm being posed with by a few people. I guess the word rebel is a word that not everyone understands, at least from the context that I am using it. And I want to thank Lynn because Lynn emailed me and she said, I just don't align with the word rebel and I don't understand it and I got turned off by it. And I'd love it if you could explain to me why you're using the word rebel, because it seems so opposite of what I have seen you be in your writings and in your expression. And so I am very grateful to Lynn for bringing that forward, because it didn't dawn on me that that might be a word that people interpret in different ways. I've gotten to a point now where I no longer follow the definitions that society or that we've been taught of different words. I kind of feel into where my definition is of a word and what that brings up in me and what that feels like to me. So I do want to share with you where the word rebel came from for the Rebel Road, so that you can understand what it really means to me, and so that you can decide and determine if that definition is perhaps a new definition that you want to embrace for yourself. I think in the dictionary it talks about a rebel being someone that goes against law or government and fights things and is in a revolution, that kind of thing. And I think that that's probably a misinterpretation of the word in itself, because there are many spiritual texts that talk about the rebel spirit within, that is the spirit that is beyond when we start to awaken, when we start to move. You can look up works and writings of Osho or the ancient masters of India, or even any of the other texts. If you really search within, you'll find that the word rebel is used. Even Richard Rudd's work on the Gene Keys, he talks about the rebel. And it's all in the same vein, and I happened to find all of that information after the fact that this happened. So I want to take you down the Rebel Road and let you know how the universe spoke to me and how it helped me to come to this place of calling this whole journey the Rebel Road. It was definitely signs, symbols, dots, messages, signs along the way. As you know, I went through a divorce this past year, and as I was going through the process of that divorce back in October, I sat still and I got this vision to go on the road and put on the show and do these different things. And as I was working through my own manner of letting go enough to say yes to this, I was moving through this divorce of this 18-year arranged marriage, something that I think had been calling for change for many years, but I'd never had the courage to actually make that change for my own cultural reasons, familial reasons, because of my kids, just different reasons. And so the actual divorce court final hearing date was on January 1st, not January 1st, it was January 3rd or 4th. And I came back from that and I was sitting in stillness and just closed my eyes quietly, and I went into a meditation, and all of a sudden I got this message that I was doing exactly everything the way everyone always did. I was living this practical life. I was making these choices to keep my kids safe, to get into a house, to make sure that they had a quote-unquote normal life. And so because of that, you can hear my kids in the background, because of that, I had put a contract on a house and was really trying to get them settled, so that with all the change that was happening in their life, they felt some sense of what we look at as normalcy. And what I got in that meditation was, number one, that this is the way that we imprison ourselves. We follow what we think has to be done. We create certain situations that end up being binding situations, that end up being the excuses of our lives, so that we can't move into our full potential and power and dreams that we might have. And as I came out of that meditation, I was thinking about, gosh, I'm about to buy this home that I've got a contract on, and if I get this home, then all of a sudden, what does it mean that I won't allow myself to do? How will I imprison myself in saying, perhaps, oh, I've got kids, I can't do this, or now I've got this house, I need to put my money towards that, or there are all these situations and excuses that come up. And then I had this huge light bulb, because the house sat on a particular street, and the name of the street was Rebellion Road. Rebellion Road! Talk about the universe speaking to me. Oh my goodness. And then I realized, wow, that's another thing that we do. We're supposed to be this fluid creation that has these signs and symbols and conversation that's constantly coming from us from the universe. But we've turned into this society that when we see something, we have to have it. When we see something, we think we have to own it. And I had done the same thing. This is the sign that showed up just to say it's time to be a rebel in your own life. And Rebellion Road was the home. Well, what is the home? What is the first and foremost home that we have? Well, it's our body. It's our physical body is our first home. And so I was about to, what it was trying to tell me was that the rebellion that had to happen had to be within my own internal body home. Now, this is not about a fight. To be a rebel is not about fighting the outside. It's not at all about fighting the outside. Sure, there may be a lot of systems that are crumbling. There may be things in the world that are not really working in a way that is most supportive to every person on the planet at this time. But to be a rebel is not about trying to fight against those systems. It's about looking inside for the laws we have created internally, for the behaviors, for the patterns, for the blocks, for the excuses. The excuses. What are your excuses? Oh, I've got kids. I can't do that. I have a family to take care of. I can't do that. I have a business to run. How do I just change my business? I have a home, or I have debt, or I can't afford it, or I don't have the money, or I don't know how. What are all the excuses that you use in your own life to not embark on something that you just have sitting in your gut or in your heart? I get it. I know it. If I look back on my marriage, I made up so many excuses to not live full out. Sure, I did things that looked like what I wanted to do, but I never let myself be fully free because I was trying to stay small so other people could feel big. Or I was trying to support my husband's dream because his dream was more important. His dream brought in the money to the family. My dream was less important because mine was more humanitarian. It was giving, it was charity, it was serving in a way that didn't always bring in, hardly ever brought in any money. And so there were so many excuses to say you can't fully live yours. And that's what being the rebel is about. It's finally saying no excuses, that I choose myself. Not only do I choose myself, I choose to trust. I choose to trust the world. I choose to trust life. I choose to trust that there are people in the world that are going to show up. I choose to trust that we are moving in a certain direction. I choose to trust the unknown. I choose to trust the unknown self. The known self, what I know has gotten me as far as it can get me. Perhaps what I really can tap into now is what I don't know. What do I not know about myself? What do I not know about my divinity, my power, my presence, my grace? What do I not know about the miracles that are my inherent birthright? About the pathway that my own brilliance and light and unique genius might create in the world, about how my voice and passion and presence and stepping out fully might actually spark something else in happening. How if each one of us choose to be the example in our own lives, how that very thing might come up with the creative capacity to be the solutions to the many problems that surround us. Being the rebel is a beautiful part of spiritual evolution because it's finally shedding the greatest lies of all, and those are the lies that we tell ourselves. It's not about the lie that we've told the world. It's about the lie that we've told ourselves. The lie that we're too small, or that we can't have it, or that the world works in a certain way, so it's just not our time. The lie that we don't have the ability, or the mindset, or the support, or the resources. The lie that says, I'm not worthy enough. I'm not prepared enough. I'm not educated enough. I don't have enough degrees. I don't have enough certifications. These are all the lies. Because what I'm discovering is that there are nothing but masters walking, and we each have our own unique genius. And all we are really required to do here is shine and shine the light on others, is celebrate and celebrate others, is to have fun and come in community and unity with others to show them that this is what life is about. So I invite you to be the rebel in your own life. I invite you to discover this journey of darkness to light, the connecting of dots along the way, the beauty that is conversations with the universe, and the amazing way that people come together in a powerful fracture and synarchy that is just an amazing collection of people that are birthing and emerging to this new insight of who we are. That's who I'm going out to see. That's who I'm going out to gather. That's who I'm going out to inspire and be inspired by. I want to play with you. I want to celebrate with you. I want to be in joy and music and dance and creation with you. And whether or not you know what that is, whether or not you feel like you have something to bring to the table, all I'm asking is that you show up and have some fun. That you show up and you understand that this world is not about the news that we see on television or the headlines that we find on the internet. There is something far greater in this world that we can trust. It's not about creating drama. It's not about trying to figure out how we have to fix ourselves or heal ourselves. It's about taking what we got and shining the light on it for everyone to see. So I invite you to join me in any way, shape, or form on the Rebel Road. Show up at a city. Contact me and say, I want to be a part of it. I've got some unique genius to share. Donate and support. Watch online. We're going to have a live stream TV channel. I'm going to create new special editions of the Rebel Road 1111 magazine just to follow this journey in each city and to cover so many brilliant faces and people that I'm meeting along the way. This is nothing but organic life, moving, changing, growing, connecting, and being one. And that is the time that we're in now. And if you can't tell, it gets me excited. It gets me really passionate and excited. And, you know, those that can get it, we're going to have a darn good time. And those that can't, well, the rest of us have enough light to hold the space until they can. Will you believe? Will you believe? Will you dive into the magic that life is? Will you dive into the wonder that we all are? Will you let yourself consider that we are timeless, boundless, ecstatic beings of light, sound, and color, here to shine bright and come together in illumination? I'll see you and everybody else on the Rebel Road. I'm Simran Singh. Be well.